Hello and welcome, everyone. Just like every day, you all are welcome at 5 p.m. for the Indian markets. Nifty and Bank Nifty after market analysis session. This is the after market analysis session where we look at after the market closes, where the buyers came in today, where the sellers were active, and basically how the footprint gave us confirmations. We also try to read the footprint properly. If you are new and want to learn order flow or want to learn how to use the footprint properly, then you can join this daily live webinar at 5 p.m. in the evening. The link for this live webinar is uploaded on GoCharting's YouTube, Discord, and Telegram community before 5 p.m. in the evening. Also, if you are using GoCharting at that particular time, then in the top right corner in the notification bar, you can click on the webinar and you will get the link there. You can also join from here. In any case, if you miss this live webinar, the recording of this webinar is usually uploaded on all GoCharting YouTube channels. I have shared the links to all the YouTube channels in the chat box, and you will also find them in the YouTube description. Okay, so now, today let's see what happened in Nifty and how. Okay, so before looking at the order flow, let's first take a look at the levels in Nifty today according to the volume profile and see what kind of confirmation the volume profile was giving. Okay, yesterday's volume profile was a B-shaped volume profile. How is it B-shaped? Look like this. See this. This has formed a B-shape, right? Okay, so inside this B-shape, we had a big volume node. This one. Now, whenever the volume node is quite large, we divide that volume node into two parts, as per volume profile theory. Oh. The lower part of the volume node, we call that value area low, and the upper part, we call that value area high. Okay, so in the same way, we marked the value area low and then we marked the value area high. This completes the confirmation of yesterday's volume profile. Okay, now if we look at the entire consolidation, like Nifty has been stuck within this range for quite a few days. Okay, if we look at the confirmation of the volume profile for this entire zone, then the same VTOC zone is also present here. Okay, so the value area high from yesterday is exactly where the VTOC zone has formed for several sessions. Mark that. Then if Dan moves above here, we have another value area, volume node. If it goes above this, then we have yet another volume node here. If it goes below this, then this is the volume node, okay. These were simple confirmations from the volume profile. How simple, you ask? First of all, we picked the entire volume profile of yesterday. Okay, so now this part is done, how the levels of the volume profile were and what they were. Now, on these very levels, let's see how and where the volume profile gave us any confirmation. Sorry, how the order flow gave us any confirmation. Okay. Okay. So far, we have only looked at the levels in the volume profile. Now, on those same levels, we will look at the confirmation from the footprint where the buyers came in, where the sellers came in, and what exactly happened and how. Before you learn how to properly read the footprint, you should know what delta is because we use delta every day here to read the footprint. For example, let's pick today's third candle. This one is the third candle, okay. These are the footprints of this third candle. Now, within this same footprint, on the right side we have buyers and on the left side we have sellers. If we add up all the buyers on the right side, and let's say the total comes out to be 1,30,000, okay, in positive. And then, if we add up the sellers, let's assume the total for sellers comes out to be around 1 lakh here. So if we subtract these two, what do we get? Plus ka 33k. Okay, that means there are more buyers by how much? 33,000. So, the same delta has shown us this value here. Okay, now, since there were more buyers, that's why the value is inside the green box. And whenever the value is inside the green box, we call it a positive delta. Meaning, positive delta simply means buyers. Okay, we had assumed this value just to understand delta. Now, the candle has turned red, but actually, there was no selling in that candle at all. So, order flow helps us in this way as well. Now, let's pick this candle, the fifth candle. We'll add the buyers and add the sellers, just like before. Alright, so what is the difference that has come out? Minus 44,000. Okay, negative 44,000. So it's negative and inside the red box. That means in this candle there are 44,000 more sellers compared to buyers. Okay, and when there are more sellers, we call it negative delta. When there are more buyers, it's called positive delta. So, what does delta mean? It's the difference between buyers and sellers. When that difference is more on the buyer's side, it's positive delta, and when it's more on the seller's side, it's negative delta. Okay, positive delta means buyers, negative delta means sellers. It means there are that many sellers inside this candle. Okay, now let's talk about both negative and positive together. Like there are some candles whose delta is only 150, only 1000, 0, 1000, 1000, 17,000, okay. It means the delta is very low for some candles. And there are some candles whose delta is 44,000, 33,000, 38,000, 23,000, and some candles, look here again, 30, 30,000, and some candles have a very high delta while some candles have a very low delta. So, the candles which have a higher delta, there is more buying and selling in those candles as compared to other candles. And in those very candles, the big players are present. And in the candles where there is less buying and selling, the delta of those candles appears quite neutral to us, meaning their value is seen to be very low. So, what is the biggest benefit? Reading the order flow of those candles which have a heavy delta, because those are the very candles where big buyers and big sellers are present. And those are the very candles which, in some way or the other, make the market direction clear. Alright, so now what we will do is pick those candles which have a heavy delta. For example, the first candle, you will see a big delta in the first candle every day. Okay, but what happens in the first candle is that the volatility is very high. So if you are reading the delta of the first candle or reading the footprint, do it carefully. Because every day there is higher volume and many times the market does not move in that direction. Okay, so now how will we read the footprint? So the candle. Yes, alright, the delta is 38,000. For any candle whose delta is above 30,000, whether on the positive side or the negative side, we will read those. The delta value is good. 38,000. Which side is this value on? Since there are more buyers, what will we do in the footprint? We will go to the footprint of the candle. Which side is the buyer's side? Right side. Since there are more buyers, means buyers are powerful in this candle. If there are more buyers, then after reading the sellers, what will we do? We will go to the buyer's side and specifically look for the spot where the most buying activity has happened. Look at this 55 completely once we will go through from the buyer's side. You can clearly see separate buying at 55, buying at 32, and buying at 53. Okay, so in the first candle, this is the zone where a good number of buyers have come in. Okay, what did the next candle do? It broke below this buying zone. That means this buying zone was broken on the downside. So what does this mean? It's the first candle. We can even skip it if we want. So, buyers came in the first candle, but those buyers couldn't really manage to take the market up. Okay, so somewhere these buyers got absorbed here to some extent. The next candle again didn't show any major buying or selling. In the next candle, again there was another buying attempt, see this. And where were the most buyers? Right at the top. But again, what did the next candle do? The market came down from wherever the buyers of this candle were. So, what does this mean? Buying activity is happening both in the first candle and in the third candle. But despite this buying, we are not seeing anything moving upwards here. So, what does this mean? It means that some light buying absorption is happening here. Buying absorption means if buyers come and the price goes up, then there is no problem. But this time, there are buyers and the market price is not going up. So that means all the buyers in the first and third candles have been absorbed here. Okay, but we also cannot go short. No, because yesterday's low is here, okay, and there was also a VPOC zone here. There is also a strong support zone here as per the confirmation from the volume profile. So, one thing is clear that yes, buying absorption is happening here, okay. Now, in this candle, we saw some good selling as well. We saw quite a good amount of selling. The biggest delta so far at 44. And if we look from the seller's side, this was the place where the most selling was seen. Okay, but after the selling, what did the next candle do? From the selling zone of this candle, the market moved upwards. So it means that still selling and buying is happening and the price is not going up. There was selling, but the price is not going down. This means that some kind of buying absorption is happening here and some kind of selling absorption is also going on here. See, the market is easily holding above the selling zone of this candle. But what we saw here was that a selling absorption took place. After that, there was a strong attempt by the buyers. If we look at today's market like this for a bit, if we look at today's market in reference to the levels, I mean the confirmation given by the volume profile, then according to that, this selling absorption here is giving a solid confirmation. Somewhere or the other, the selling of longs has been absorbed. On the buyer side, okay, there was buying activity at 41k. Now look, this is the same 41k order. This time, despite the buying, the market did not go down. Look at this. Buying was happening, but the market was going down. That means the buying from both sides was being absorbed. There was selling happening. But even after this selling, the market was not going down. The market was going up. So absorption was happening on both sides. In this candle, buyers came in. There was decent delta as well, and buying happened at 41k. But this time it was held, see, it was held even on the pullback. Here there was buying absorption and below selling absorption. This indicated that somewhere the market goes sideways, okay. But there was that one point where, after the buy and selling absorption, buyers came in and on the pullback, see here, for about 20 minutes, almost half an hour, the market stayed here quite well. Okay, so this is the zone where it is holding. There was also some light buying activity going on. There was a selling here in this candle, see, at 41,000. But again, the very next candle took the market above that selling zone. So now this selling zone is not that significant anymore. Again, the pullback held, and if we look here, see this thing, what confirmation did it give? The buying absorption that happened here, boss, it broke through it at this point. Okay. And this is the zone where the market can take a pullback. So again, it came back there once more, and after that, it was sideways, not a bullish movement. Okay, slowly, it reached the resistance zone. What happened in between? Nothing happened in between. There was just some light volume, nothing solid. Buying on the side, buying at 22,000, buying at 23,000. Okay, look at this, buying at 34,000. One more big buying came in, buying at 54,000, and right after this buying, it reversed. But boss, there weren't enough sellers for us to say that a downside movement has started. Look here. There was buying absorption. Sellers came in, but even the sellers got absorbed. There was selling absorption, and then buyers came in, and this time the buyers moved the price. So that means it's a bullish scenario where even the sellers are getting absorbed and aggressive buyers are also moving the price upwards. Okay. So, on the pullback, there was a zone that the market respected. Again, there was a pullback and then an upside movement. A buying absorption was seen. It held even during the pullback, but there weren't any strong sellers. After the buying absorption, again, there was another buying absorption, and that's where the market closed. It was quite sideways. Sideways in the sense that the market was moving just above the row pit. Okay, by row pit I mean it was extremely sideways. See, it remained stuck within this very range. It moved from 700 to 750. Okay, from 680 to 760. It gave a movement of almost just 80 points. Throughout the day, okay, the market was moving up very slowly. Very slowly. But order flow helped in the sense that at yesterday's VPOC zone, we saw selling absorption. Okay, this was today's analysis of Nifty. Now, whatever doubts you all have, please unmute yourself and ask your questions.